You know, when we first started back in the early '80s, we were playing sort of any guitars we could get our hands on. We had one really good guitar in the band, which was a Fender Tele Deluxe that I had, and I always loved that guitar, especially for the pickups that were in it. And as we moved through the '80s, we acquired more and more guitars, and we started getting more different Fender guitars, and we had a couple Jaguars, I remember, that we really liked. We really liked something about them. And then sometime sort of probably '87 or '88, someone sold us a Jazzmaster. And we liked it immediately because it was similar to the Jaguar. And then when we discovered that longer scale that it has, somehow we both just immediately gravitated towards that, Thurston and I. It just seemed, there's just something about it, the way the body shape is, the way it sits the way it straps on or whatever, or when you're sitting down with it, it just seemed like about the perfect guitar shape for us. I still feel like it's really the perfect guitar shape. I find it a lot more comfortable than almost any other guitar shape imaginable, both for playing and just for, I think it looks totally cool. And so I think sometime around the late '80s we had a couple. And then a few years later we started doing a bunch of shows with Dinosaur. And Jay Mascis was playing Jazzmasters at that time as well. And sort of seeing what he was doing with them kind of helped cement the idea that this was a really, really cool guitar to us. I mean, we didn't really know anybody that was playing Jazzmasters at the time, and then we saw that we had a couple, and then we saw that Jay was playing them as well, and it just there was just some kind of bond there about the guitar that was really cool. We didn't see many people playing them at the time, and slowly over the years you see people playing them. They're not as popular as Strats or Teles, certainly, but a lot of different people ended up playing them. I think that we noticed a few years later that group My Bloody Valentine was Kevin Shields was playing Jazzmasters, and I have a feeling he got that from, if not Sonic Youth, certainly from Dinosaur, because I think he was really into what Jay was doing as well. And, so I remember we were going to England, and all of a sudden you start seeing bands playing Jazzmasters. Like the second or third time we came around, they were kind of like checking out what we were doing and then buying those same guitars. And, I don't know what it is. I mean, there's just something really perfect about it. We love the tremolo. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of like a lockdown kind of tremolo, which neither Thurston or I have ever responded to ever. And this one works great. I mean, it's an amazing tremolo. It doesn't throw the guitar out of tune. Combined the best of both worlds by taking the pickups out of my Tele Deluxe, which I love the sound of, and putting them in here. Thurston goes more for the brighter Jazzmaster pickup sound, and I'm really into the thickness of these Tele Deluxe humbuckers. So I've been putting those in all my guitars and calling them Jazz Blasters since the mid-90s. One of our tech guys created the first one. He said, like, you like those pickups? You like this guitar? Let's see what we can do, And we've streamlined a lot of the electronics on the guitars to suit our own needs. We really don't have any use for tone controls or all the different knobs and switches that were on Jazzmasters or Jaguars. So we've kind of stripped it down to just the jack point, a volume knob, and a toggle switch to switch between the pickups. And it's really become about the ultimate guitar for us. I think Thurston and I must have each somewhere between 6 and 10 that we use almost on a nightly basis. 6 and 10 different ones strung up in different tunings that we use almost on a nightly basis. I don't know if it's the long scale or what, but something about the way we work with the alternate tuning seems to work really well on the size of these guitars. I don't know if it's the longer neck scale or what, but the fact that we play in a lot of sort of heavy gauge, or at least I play in a lot of heavy gauge strings in really sort of deep tunings with low C's and paired strings on the low strings below normal standard E, really heavy, 58s, 62s on the low end, 17s on the high end. Something about the scale seems to adapt to it really well. It seems like structurally the guitar is really easy to deal with it. I mean, some of the guitars we have are almost in like baritone range in terms of the way they're strung and tuned. And this guitar seems to be able to hold it really well. Which is great.